Let's have a little bit of music. No. Can't remember which ones I can. Hello, everyone. Yes, we're starting soon. For anyone who makes it and shows up, say hello to the show. I'm trying to do something here, though. I'm trying to do something that's kind of live and trying to get a split screen here on this. How does that work? I can do it in the other program, but this one's a little different. Feed. No, that's not what I want. There you go, studio mode. Edit. There we go. Let's go edit. Let's see if that'll work. Hey, it does. Cool. No, that's not what I want. I don't want to edit that. I want to add a source. New source. Let's try a window capture. See what that does for me. No, that's not it. That's not what I want. Let's try a different one here. Let's try a browser source. Let's see what this gets me. Nope, that won't work either. Alright, yes, remove that. I'm playing here, folks. General. Media source. Nope, that's not it. Display. I do this, that. Nope, that won't work at all. That just gives me a shit ton zoo. Cancel. Remove that. Yes, remove it. Go away. Go window capture. Add source. Okay, it just captures that. Okay. That doesn't give me what I want. Oh well, so be it. Let's go look at the pretty chickens. It's just about showtime, getting close to it. As we kill time. Hey, you're early. Good morning, Hemdian. You happen to hit a tough show day. Amber's not going to be here, so it's not going to be the usual show. Yeah, well, let's go take a look at the chickens. There you go. It's chicken time. Oh, they're laying down, being lazy chickens. Amber called in sick about 45 minutes ago. You're early for once, and you're early on a show day that's not going to be a normal show. I'm just going to do a short show today because we don't have everything here. We prepped up a show, but it's not quite the same when I got to do it by myself anymore. It's so rare I do shows by myself anymore. And yeah, I mutter under my breath when I'm trying to figure out things. You know what they say, the first step to insanity is talking to yourself and then answering yourself. Yeah, I hope she feels better soon too. Still got a pre-stream though, so pre-stream. Just about music time. Just about music time. Oh, I need to flip it over to transition. There you go. Haha. I'm playing with something new here. Figure I may as well see how it works. There we go. We have chickens. They're digging a pit in their box. I don't know what they're up to. They're chickens. Yeah, the incantations were the chickens. Yeah, as we figure all this stuff out here, get ourselves set up and rock and roll it for a show. It'll be a show. Don't forget, we do have a meetup on June 25th, all set and ready to go. I already have people registering for it. That's always kind of cool. Looking forward to that, having some peoples over. All right, let's see what we got here. And it is time for some music.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Dill's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Dill's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
Says mine. Oh my.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
that be it. I think I will start and do us a nice little show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
We're going to start that one all over again. All right, one more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Absolutely. It is a show. Unfortunately, Amber is sick today. She called in sick about an hour before the show, give or take. And we have a show all worked up for you, but today it's going to be a little different. We're not going to run the usual show today with all the plugins because it's just not quite the same without her plugins and then me doing mine. We're just going to head right down into it. All right. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever the hell you happen to be out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I am John Overall, all by my mean old lonesome today. Amber is unfortunately out sick. She got sick sometime overnight and couldn't make the show today. But I will be doing a show for you today, and we're going to do the best we can. We're not going to do a full-blown show. It's going to be a little different than usual. I'm going to be talking a little bit about WordPress stuff today. Hang on a second. And it's just going to talk a bit about WordPress. Some of the stuff I've seen in the WordPress news lately, a couple of items. Touch on, thanking all the people that do support the show, some of the usual stuff. But it is kind of an unusual one. When you're prepared to go one way and you have to go another direction, you decide, well, I can either do half these plugins and leave the other half out, or I can, do all the plugins and then I have to recreate another show for next week. I thought I'd save myself some hours of work for next week and just recycle all the material we were going to give you this week. And this week here, we'll give you some information about what's going on in the world of WordPress. First off, don't forget, this is a value for value show, and for many, many years, it's been value for value. And as I've said to all listeners out there, please, if you get any value out of this show, I mean anything, does it save you 5 minutes? Does it bring you a plugin you never heard of and save you tons of time? Does it give you ideas? Does it help you in any way, shape, or form? If it does, and you feel like there's some value you want to give back, hey, you can give back value in multiple ways. Of course, the number one way we like is to send us some cash. Other ways you can do is support us with artwork, or you can support us with some time we need for people to do things that are needed for this show. You can reach out. You can also just decide all on your own and say, hey, I want to help them out, so I'll go create something for WordPress plugins, and we'll give that information to them, and they can promote it to the world. One of the most successful shows that does that is the No Agenda show. Almost everything that's around their community, the guys who do the show never even did. It was just all of the producers that started doing it on their own. So feel free to be on your own. Go invent something to help WordPress plugins A to Z and associate with the show. We would not be upset in the least. Have fun. Do what you want to it. All right, we don't have a rant, but we do want to talk about some WordPress news. Now, I caught an article this last week that was really interesting to me. And it's a piece of news about WordPress. It comes from masterwp.com. And it's WordPress. It talks about WordPress needing to think like a platform again. And WordPress has actually not thought like a platform for several years. And as he talks about in this article here, is that WordPress as a platform grew very big, very fast. In other words, the platform provided all of the access for other people to build their businesses off of that platform. Lots of people built massive businesses off of WordPress as a platform. But what happened about, well, I know it's been at least 2 years, but a few years before that, when they started thinking about the Gutenberg system, they started thinking of themselves as a page builder. And he brought up something really interesting in this article here. You know, talking about successful operating systems that have been platforms for other developers, such as iOS, you know, which takes a slice of the pie, which is how they've stayed so successful. But where was this? I missed the point. Here we go. Platform. Okay, one of the quotes on here is, my current theory is that WordPress market share is failing because of WooCommerce extensions being priced by the same people who sell insulin and prescription drugs in America. I thought that was a great quote. You have to find it in the article. But basically, what they're talking about is WordPress is a platform, WooCommerce as a sort of a platform providing. WooCommerce did do that. They used to be highly affordable for all WooCommerce products. Then they cranked their price up, shortened the licensing time span, and caused it so more people started looking elsewhere for alternatives. Another problem that has occurred with WordPress, I think, in the last few years, and in particular the last 2 years, is actually, I guess it's been 3 years, 3 maybe 4 years since they started the Gutenberg project. I kind of forget. The biggest thing they wanted to do was they got scared of places like, what's it called? WebEx, Weebly, Web something, not Stripe, Squarespace, and I forget the other one. Squarespace and the other ones who were taking a chunk of the pie because they provided everything for people. And so WordPress wanted to do that. And of course, they do that now with their WordPress.com site. And they recently changed their pricing plans over there and lowered stuff and really pissed off a lot of the community when they did that. And then they had to backtrack on what they were initially offering on it. And it's made an impact on them and their relationship with everything. What they're doing with Gutenberg is trying to make it a project. And, you know, while I was thinking a few months ago, I was thinking that they might actually manage to put page builders out of business. They might not actually, just due to the experiences that I've had in the last couple of months building out a web page, working to build out, not a web page, a website, working to build it out entirely in Gutenberg, and finding that there were things in Gutenberg I couldn't do easily. I was getting back to doing code again to make it work the way I wanted it to work, which I didn't find overly exciting, and I'm actually installing Elementor onto this site. I was considering letting my Elementor license go if I managed to get Gutenberg fully functioning, but I'm decided no, maybe not, because with Elementor I can go in and do the easy things again, such as, you know, I need to change out a footer, I need to customize the header. You know, in Gutenberg I was finding it not as easy to do. Maybe I'm just not finding the right information. Maybe that was my problem. I don't know. Could be anything along that line. And it is what it is, but I'm not sure. WordPress seems to be a bit scattered these days as to where it's going. You know, they're so worried about their market share, and granted, WordPress's market share of the internet, powering the internet, is pushing the 40 to 50%. I mean, it was fantastic. WordPress was the biggest thing on the planet when it was 25%, which is probably higher, and it may be higher, it may be less, because they base that rating on the top 1,000 websites out there on the internet or something like that. I don't remember what the precise is on it, but the point being is that I think they're chasing down a path that is not going to be very effective on it. Let's talk a little bit about the news in the WordPress world right now that we have for this week, because some of this news might be time sensitive. All right, let's see what we got here. Yep, the vulnerability report. Amber brought the vulnerability report for us to look at. Now the vulnerability, let's wrap my tongue around that again, get a drink, help out. Actually, the other problem with doing the show by myself is, I don't have the ability to go do many other things. I'm not an overly multitasking person. Multitasking person. And while I can multitask, it's easier if I can focus on each task I'm doing. All right, let's see what we've got here for the vulnerabilities. It seems the bad ones are always at the bottom. And these are ones that if you've got any of these, you definitely want to look at them. Let's see what we've got. They've got quite a list this week of ones that haven't been patched. Wow. No known fix. Code snippets. Extended. Don't recognize. Change upload file permissions. If you're using a plugin that says change upload file permissions, you are begging for trouble on your site, because you should never have something changing the upload file permissions while you're uploading something. You want to change file permissions, you want to do it right at your by FTPing into your site or going in through your cPanel, whichever one you've got. New user email setup, RB internal links, post tabs, private files, WP athletics, that's an interesting one. Wonder what that is. WP CRM, customer relations management tool, advanced admin search. I recognize that one. I think I might have used that one in the past. I think I have used that somewhere in the past. Nothing that I'm currently using though. All right, latest tweets widget, WP admin style, NQ anything, carousel CK, auto delete posts, latex for WordPress. Member hero. There's a pretty big list this week. You might want to scan through this list and see if there's anything in this list that might be a problem for you. Okay, let's see what else we've got for news this week. Oh, yeah, this is partly what I was talking about. WordPress's new starter plan. The advantage is if you were on Pro, your price went down. But they did have multiple level plans. But the free plan used to have 6 gigs of storage. And the free plan, do they even have the free plan listed? Free plan, 15-month plan. Starter plan's 5, along with 6 gigs. I think they lowered the free plan down to like 3 gigs or something, which, is a pretty significant storage space, but not if you're uploading lots of images to your site. You can pack that full pretty quick if you're loading tons of images. So WordPress is busy working out a system to make sure that they are not in there. Now look, the Pro now allows unlimited plugins, premium support, premium themes, and sell products of WooCommerce. So you can go set up a WooCommerce store with the Pro plan. That'll be interesting. I wonder how that'll do for taking away some of the businesses from. I just had the words in my head. Wix and Squarespace, Wix and Squarespace, or some of the other ones. There's another one out there. I can't remember the other one. There's about 3 or 4 that are pretty popular. The one big problem I've got with the people who go on to sites like Wix to build their website is you got to remember, you do own your data, sorta, but try to remove that data from Wix. If you've never built or worked in a Wix website, well, you don't know. But I've never built, but I've exported people out of Wix, and you can't export the data easily. It's a whole lot of work to get your data out of there if you decide to move. And you never know what could happen. And I've seen big companies that were promised to be there for years and years suddenly pack up shop in a week, and all your data's gone. Some of them, they don't even give you a warning. This has happened. It'll happen again. You just never know who's going to go under for whatever reason. All right, let's see what else we got. An open source initiative launches a new blog in WordPress. On WordPress. A new blog on WordPress. The reception steward open source has launched a news blog on WordPress. Okay, so they launch their new blog using WordPress? Is it on WordPress.com or did they launch it using WordPress? See, that's a big difference. They don't often extenuate that. I assume that since creating a blog under subdomain preferred using Drupal and self-hosted to manage it, it's not common use case. Yeah. So they built it using WordPress, not on WordPress. They built it using WordPress. Words do matter, folks. Words do matter. Okay, WordPress 6.0 is out. It's named Arturo. Must be a jazz singer. Never heard of him. I'm not that big a jazz fan, though. It's got more template blocks and patterns, and surprisingly, I accidentally updated a website with it the other day, because I was updating a website, and they released it like 10 minutes before while I was doing updates, because previously it was going to go to 5.9. Then all of a sudden I was downloading and installed 5.6, and I'm like, shit. But I noticed a significant speed improvement on that site. I was really stunned. I don't know, maybe they did something right in there. I'm going to have to go update a couple other sites and see if I get the same speed improvement from them. And I've seen an article somewhere this morning, people asking, not an article, in the Twitter field, people asking if they're seeing a speed improvement or changes. And there are people saying, well, you see a speed improvement if you're using Gutenberg, but if you're using Classic Editor, you probably won't see a speed improvement. Well, the site I was working on was using Classic Editor, so I don't know. It's something to think. And because it's brand new and it's 6.0, I don't recommend updating stuff because you might break things. I usually wait a week or two after a major release before I do any updates, simply because I want to wait and see how many people start screaming on the internet about it breaking stuff. I don't have time to be one of the debuggers anymore. I used to back in the day. I used to be updating and testing and everything, and helped with, my inputs on it. But they don't like me over at WordPress.com anymore, so I don't do anything over there. They banned me. If you ever want to know why they banned me, just go to WP Plugins, look up bannedwp.com, and you'll find the article. It's a very long article drawn out as to why they banned me. Stupid, in my opinion, but it is what it is. If you are a writer and want to get writing in the WordPress world, WP Tavern is hiring. I can't remember who it was that left recently, but the writer, I can't remember his name. He's a really popular guy. I've used his plugins for many years. And then he went to the tavern and wrote for a while, and I believe he was leaving the tavern. I caught an article about him leaving the tavern. So anyway, you could get yourself something at the tavern, make yourself some money there. Be a cool little simple thing. And let's see what else we got. The return of Gopher. Pre-hyper... Gopher? I remember Gopher. It's been so long since I've used it. Coming soon to a Gopher space near you. Point and click internet protocol. It predates, yes, it was before the internet, before the World Wide Web. I didn't even go for space was still there. Modern web browsers are removing FTP support. Well, that's interesting. Huh. Wow. That's it. I didn't know modern browsers were removing FTP support. That's interesting. I wonder why. They're afraid that people are going to actually figure out how to do stuff. All right. Well, that's pretty much all the news. There's a whole bunch of extras in here that were brought in. I don't have a whole lot. I do want to thank our show artist for this week. We'll use another piece of artwork next week for the show. But this week here, we've already chose the artwork. It came from Greg's Graphics, and it's a really cool old vinyl record on a nice old record player spinning up some tracks. So I do like it. It's nicely detailed and blue lit. Well done. Thank you, Greg. Greatly appreciate you every week providing the artwork we need to the show. I don't have anyone else to acknowledge here for supported the show. And we'll just skip over all the humdrum of it. And that's really all I'm going to talk about this week. And yeah, there's nothing else in there. Nothing else I can see that's major and big. We're going to call this a short show. That means I get to get out of town a little earlier than I expected. Thanks, Hemdian, for showing up to the show. I greatly appreciate you showing up every single week, or pretty much every week you're here. To help us out and make everything feel better along the line. Little by little, things have been getting better. I'm sure by next week, Amber will be healthy again, and we will be able to continue on with the show and get it on and moving. So I'm just going to close out the show at this point here, because I don't have a whole lot else to talk about in the WordPress sphere. Just be aware that if you make your living in WordPress, the industry is changing, and the industry is changing in ways that are completely unforeseeable at the moment. And the way WordPress, from my perspective, the way they've been doing things for the last 3 years is opening themselves up to a competitor who manages to get the momentum the same way WordPress was created. WordPress was a fork of... I can't remember the blogging system it was a fork of. And I used that blogging system before WordPress, and I liked it. And then the developers quit working with it as much, and they quit helping. And while WordPress continues to help people, the simple thing is, they're making it more difficult in some areas, easier in others. They're looking to attract the people who like it easy. Whereas the developers are not always the ones that like it easy. And the developers are the ones that made WordPress what it is. And if they decide to abandon ship, WordPress's days are numbered. I don't know for sure. I would say they're probably not numbered. I mean, I'll continue to use it for as long as it's a viable product. And because I just don't want to go through the learning curve. But you've got younger, more energetic people coming up the pike, and they could choose something else and make it work. So... at any rate, let's hope that doesn't happen to it. I think I'll call that a show on that note there. Remember, everyone, you want to reach out to us, you can go reach out to us at wppluginsa2z.com. All the contact info, donation info, everything that is needed there is all good to go. There's no Q&A segment this week with Amber because she's not here, and there's some pretty interesting questions, so we'll have to come back to them. All right, with all of that, we're going to let my girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to carry a couple of quick questions because I still got to prepare the show to be delivered to the website. Answering Hemdian, I have a tough time paying attention because the chat window's over on another screen, so I don't see it when paying attention to other things. As Hemdian said, the gopher, it's a dinosaur from the dawn of the internet. Yeah, I remember that dinosaur. I actually used to use it. I think fetch was also used too. And but I remember gopher. I can't remember how it's used, but I do remember it. And as he said about when I said about industries changing, yes, they all do change. And I commented, it is constant, but the change needs to be consistent and steady. The abrupt changes that many companies make are often the ones that cost them the most. It costs them clients, it costs them all kinds of stuff when they make abrupt changes. And they can end up hurting themselves more than helping themselves. So, and let's see what else we got here. Yeah, they got to keep moving like sharks, and it'd be nice. I know that I'm so used to change. Everything changes on a constant and regular basis. But we just continue to do what we need to do. WordPress's sudden break into Gutenberg. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The best example of a sudden change almost costing a company was eBay. eBay was changing a color scheme. I can't remember what colors to what colors. And they tried to change them all at once, and they had a massive drop-off in the number of people using their website. They didn't like the new things. So what they did was they backed off entirely, and then they started changing it one item at a time and let people get used to it over a couple of weeks, and then change another item, and then change another item, and change another. And pretty soon, they succeeded in doing what they were trying to do to begin with. They just did it slowly so that people didn't notice. They just accept it. The same way you cook a frog. You can't throw them in a pot of hot water. You got to boil the water up slowly, little by little. And this is some of the things that have been done over the years to get everything working the way it needs to be. But it's when they try to change everything, all at once is when it often becomes a problem. So other than that, I don't have much else for everyone. And because I am a bit OCD'd, I like to have things work the way I want them to work. I like to have my little bit of music to close out the show for all of those listening here on the tubes. Here we go. Some Days of Thunder to close it all out.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over
stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, that's all I've got for you now. Take care. Bye bye.